for our 30 minutes of banter before we started.
It's Chad.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, it's Chad. All hail to Chad.
What's up, gentlemen?
What's going
How you
on?
doing today?
Nothing. It's so weird lighting down here. I had to put my glasses on.
Oh, I got mine on too.
These came with the Cheeto.
Is that what that is?
Yes.
Okay.
It is.
It looks good.
This is the Halloween episode. It'll come out.
Is it the puffy kind or the hard kind?
What an answer to the crispy kind and not the hard kind.
Okay.
I feel like this is no
Fair enough.
Depends on
fair
the weather
enough.
outside.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't
There we
care.
go.
I don't care for the puffy ones.
That's fair. I'm specifically a
issue.
flaming hot Cheeto.
Gotcha. That's
why I'm red.
topical. That's topical now. I made a movie about him.
They also made a movie about the animatronics. That's kind of whack.
On Peacock, I'm watching it after this. All right.
Or hey, should I just come over and I want to watch it myself? Should I just come over afterwards?
No, my girlfriend's here.
We can all cuddle.
Damn.
No, you can go do that with Jess and Carson. All right.
He sleeps on our couch.
I know.
I actually sleep on my own couch.
Alrighty, boys, we ready?
Yeah.
I am ready.
I guess I get to kick it off this week. Alrighty, Album Book Club podcast listeners, welcome back. I'm Logan. I took a little 3-week vacation, but I am officially back. Today we have a little bit of a special episode reviewing the Violent Femmes self-titled album. We have special guest Chad, which is Connor's dad. He's going to be leading us from here on out, so I'll go ahead and pass it to you.
Oh, well, thank you. Self-titled debut album for the Violent Femmes came out in 1983. The reason I picked this is because I lived it. I was in junior high school when it came out. It is by far not the most important album of all time, but it is a pretty impressive album for what it was. The Violent Femmes came from Milwaukee. They were a punk rock band. They don't seem like they should have been anything special. And kind of after this album, I don't know that they were anything special. But the weird thing, or the cool thing about this album is it came out in a time where you couldn't self-promote beyond where you played. There was no internet. It was only produced on a little bit of vinyl and cassette tapes. And they wouldn't sell it in record stores. So if you went to the mall, you couldn't buy it because it had bad words. We went to Everybody's Records in Silverton, Ohio, and that's where we had to buy anything cool or new or trendy that came out. So that's where we would get the cassette. And despite all of that stuff, it has sold over 3 million copies. So it had some influence for something that's been, I mean, let's face it, his voice is nothing that anyone's going to be super impressed with. The writing's good. There's a lot of interesting influences to their work if you pay attention to it, but basically it's just a fringe punk rock band that came out at a weird time.
Heck yeah. I guess let's all kick it off. We do top 3 first, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's do top 3 starting with Chad, and then we'll go the normal order.
Top 3 what?
Songs.
Top 3 songs on the album.
We're getting right into the songs. Okay.
Yeah, we do top 3, lowest song, and then we go into the album and a little bit more in-depth review.
Okay. Top 3 for me would be Promise, Prove My Love, and To the Kill. And Prove My Love, that year, coming out on this record, this is their pop song. This is the song that if you were gonna predict they made money on it, you take this song, you add a bunch of heavier guitar riffs, and in 1983, you let Billy Idol sing it. It's on the radio all the time. You're gonna hate it, like Moni Moni. You're gonna hate it because they're not gonna stop playing it. But because it doesn't have all that production value, and it wasn't done by somebody who they were a large record company like Virgin or Capitol was promoting, it doesn't get that play. But if you listen to it, it's a pop song. They did a good job putting it together, and it's the catchiest song I think on the entire record. Obviously, the world doesn't think that because Blister is, but that, in my opinion, it's the catchiest song on the entire album. Do you want me to do all three now, or are we going around?
Is it Carson?
Oh, I thought we were going clockwise.
We are going clockwise. This is the normal route. Ethan, Connor, you, me.
Well, it's Chad today.
Yeah, that's fill in.
It's weird on the podcast, on the stream. It just looks weird because we're going counterclockwise.
Oh yeah, yeah, we are.
I was not prepared. Let me look at the notes real quick. Okay, my top three: "Prove My Love," "Gone Daddy Gone," and "Blister in the Sun." Because I was very familiar with that one. Got bonus points for me.
Alrighty, yeah, I got Blister in the Sun, Promise, and Add It Up is my top three.
Very nice. I went with a generic route, putting Blister in the Sun as my number one. I mean, it's Blister in the Sun. I like it. Good baller. My number two, Good Feeling, and my number three is Confessions.
If you look back at Blister and the popularity it has for such a, I don't know, lack of commercial song and album from so long ago, and now if you're at a Major League Baseball game, they're playing it on the pipe organ. That's some odd progress. Yes. It's not a straight route, but it's a route.
It's like a roller coaster. There's a little loop-de-loop in there.
There's some pit stops, definitely. Oh, and I don't know if you guys knew this about Blister. I think it was like 2013-ish. They sold it to Wendy's.
What?
And the band broke up over it for like 8 months because they were so mad that they sold Blister in the Sun, just the lick, just the intro bass, like to Wendy's for a commercial. And it ruined 30 years after the album came over. It ruined them for just under a year.
Hold on, you're telling me we could get a Blister in the Sun sandwich from Wendy's?
I think they just used it on a commercial for about 5 minutes, and those guys took it really hard.
How do I get the Violent Femmes ghost pepper chicken ranch sandwich?
Exactly, dude. Hold on.
Oh,
You're
Blister.
onto something. Yeah, call it Blister. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's a summer exclusive.
All right, Wendy's, if you want that idea, you got to pay us. But with that being said, I think we're going to move into our bottom song on the album.
Bottom song. Probably Feeling Good. It sounds like an attempt at a forced ballad. Please Don't Go, also probably a ballad attempt, but it's just so unique. I'm not saying it's good at all. It's just so unique that I just thought Feeling Good was commercially written for commercial purposes is what it sounds like to me. It doesn't go with the rest of the songs on the album at all.
All right, my bottom song was "Please Do Not Go." It was just a little odd for me. Didn't really like it. Didn't really jive with it.
I'm gonna get some shit. My lowest song on the album was Confessions. For whatever reason, it was the song I found most forgettable. I had to listen to it like 3 times. My other lowest song was on the 12-track version, but I had to since change that for the last minute.
Was it ugly?
It was not ugly. It was the other one because it was
You mean
the
the
worst
car?
ending to
The
an
car
album
one?
I've heard in a while.
The car one they
It's a
added
really
like
bad ending.
Yeah,
they
that was
added the
weird.
car one 16 years after the first album came out.
There's a reason I texted her. I was like, yo, are we just doing like the 10 songs on the original, or are we including the last 2? Because I'm like, this just feels out of place and weird and not.
I did not
in a-
like the last 2 at all.
They don't go
So
there.
tell
So
they
I
were just
listened to this
tacked
at
on.
work and didn't really pay attention, and then like I heard those two, I was like, "Damn, this kind of like ruined the entire flow of the album." It's,
You can tell they didn't belong. You definitely can.
Mm-hmm.
Cheeto,
So,
pick a bad song.
yeah, if you wanna, I want to get shot. My bottom one song was "Prove My Love" because it was the pop song, and I found it boring and generic.
Fair enough.
I would agree. I like that song, but I would agree it doesn't mesh with the rest of the vibe of the album.
I have a disdain for pop music in general.
you got a
So
disdain for Taylor Swift too.
that's
Let's
that's her fans more than anything else.
Bring back the Taylor Swift hatred. She's at her peak right now. Just hit $1 billion and a bunch
Yeah,
of guys.
shout out
with
to Travis
39
Kelce. You know what I'm
subs.
saying?
Yeah, what would Taylor Swift be without Travis Kelce?
Hey, you guys want to play a game the next time the Chiefs play? Every time they show Taylor Swift on screen, you gotta take a shot.
I ain't got enough of whiskey for that.
Like with a gun.
No,
I do got enough
liquor of
whiskey
choice,
for
but
that.
it gun optional, I guess.
I don't
The
think the gun is optional.
Prove My Love and Promise are both interesting because I find them both to be poppier than the rest of the album. But it's not like there was somebody at Slash Records in 1982 going, "We need a real pop banger we can get on Q102." There's nobody in that record company pushing them. I don't know if you guys looked up any of the rest of the stuff for the punk bands, but Harvey Danger, Los Lobos, Rammstein, Soul Coughing, Faith No More, a lot. This record company was only around for about 19 years, but it had some successful artists, not more than just one-hit wonders, I would say.
I just say we got a bunch of one-album wonders there.
Probably one album.
Yeah.
Lobos did La Bamba's soundtrack. Faith No More had that album with Epic on it.
Rammstein's good.
Didn't Faith No
Rammstein got
Rammstein
too
is,
hot.
didn't Faith No More have a song in the Guardians 3?
I think
We Care
so.
a Lot. That's Faith No More, isn't it?
maybe.
Uh,
I don't know. All I know from them is Epic.
Epic. With the
Oh, yeah, We
goldfish.
Care-
No goldfish
Care a
was
Lot
harmed
is
in the making of this video.
Alrighty,
They
let's
killed
move
my
a little
goldfish.
more into our in-depth section. We'll start with song number 1, Blister in the Sun.
Blister in the Sun was written for a female singer for a different band. And it ended up being their biggest hit ever, so I guess they're glad they hung on to it for themselves. Yeah, I think I've already said everything else I know about Blister in the Sun.
Alrighty, what's your overall out of 10 on that song? We do a number rating for each song, and then we'll do an overall in a couple of areas.
I mean, I'll give it extra points because it actually attained commercial success compared to the rest of the album. I would say, not trying to be annoyed at how much it gets played over everything else, a 7.
Respect?
Yeah, I took a lot of those factors into account and got the same score. I was like, it's a little overplayed, but it's still good. It has its merits. It's been very successful. Can't say much about it because everybody kind of knows it. They got a 7 out of 10 for me.
Heck no, fuck that's overplayed. It's a 9 out of 10 through and through. I love this song. It's a genre in punk you never really hear with the acoustic guitar. Not many people in punk don't do driving guitar, let alone record it well, which the acoustic guitar is the best recorded thing in this entire album. Everything else was recorded in a dumpster, but the acoustic guitar was in the studio.
There's a lot of quality xylophone on this album. I don't know how you can say that.
There is a lot. There was one
Yeah,
song
what?
An
that the
under-recognized
bass peaking
instrument.
too. They had the bass peaking on one song.
Mhm.
It was just, you could hear it pop and then peak the mic and cut.
I need an explanation for the xylophone, though. It's kind of just bizarre and out there, I think, for like punk instruments.
Because it was 1983, everyone was a little high, a little loose, and ready to play.
Well, and also you have to think that guys like this were, and I don't use the word classically trained because they were academically trained. Their parent in the 60s and 70s, parents made people take music lessons. You had to go to piano lessons. It didn't matter if you wanted to or not. That was part of like, think about it, these Midwestern guys. They're in Milwaukee. They were brought up. They had some music teacher that maybe inspired them, or they made fun of. One way, probably the latter. But they were in a music class. They were taking lessons. One of them was like, I don't want to take piano lessons, so they sent him to drum class. Well, his drum teachers made the poor kid play xylophones instead of drums at some point, but it stuck, and you can hear all that.
All around, good song. We're on
Agreed.
track number 2.
What
bro,
about
bro,
Cheeto?
bro?
You skipped the Cheeto.
Chill.
Bro, I'm sorry. He started speaking and I zoned out. I thought he said his stuff.
I gave Blister in the Sun 8 out of 10 because the song, it's just a good song. It's a classic. It's got a nice groove. I don't know what it is. I can't decide if it's like more of a springtime song or more of a fall time song.
No, this is like Springer, like right in that like weird cusp of right before summer in June.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I
Called
see that.
Springer like Jerry.
Exactly. Rest in peace, the goat, the legend, the original. He was the mayor, wasn't he? Or goat?
Yeah. What was that about?
He started telling people that they were homeless instead of not the father,
Ah,
and shit like that. That's Maury, not Jerry Springer.
No, Jerry's the one that wrote a personal check to a prostitute.
And it bounced.
ah.
Wasn't allowed to be mayor anymore after that.
My 8th grade year, the Boone County freshman or head coach got fired for the same thing.
Coach for what?
Football.
Yeah, okay.
Who uses check anymore? Use tap pay. Come
I mean, to
on.
be fair, the dude was like 70.
I mean, he tried to tap and pay, but
I don't know if you brought this up intentionally, but I'm pretty sure it was right around 1983 when Jerry Springer did that. So.
Oh, the violent femmes caused
That's
Jerry
kind
to
of,
write the
it's
check.
like in the 81, 82 range. It was right then. So.
The crossover event
Good
that we
call.
all didn't know we needed.
Alrighty, now that everyone has spoken, we are on to track number 2, Kiss Off.
Kiss Off, 10 out of 10. It is I think it represents this band. It's the angsty punk rock. In the middle of it, we made up a nursery rhyme before we finished it. It just sounds like, to me, especially thinking back of when this album came out, people skipped to this song when they were listening to this cassette. They fast forwarded, I should say, because you couldn't skip shit. You fast forwarded to this song. This was a big deal when it came out. This was one of the reasons people were driving to Silverton to buy this cassette back then.
yeah, this is a pretty good song for me too. I really like the vibe of it. It has that angst I really like with punk music. I gave it a 8 out of 10. Thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, so I actually gave this one a 6 out of 10. And that's because I didn't realize when this song ended and the next one started. So I kind of docked points from both sides. I was like, "Oh man, it just kept going." And then I look at the track and I'm like, "I'm almost to the end of track 3." Uh-oh. So I had to go back and fill it in. It was a good song. It didn't change into the next one, and that always goes into my ratings.
Yeah, I gave Kiss Off a 7 out of 10. I said another good song, and like, this is a weird description. It feels like kind of the catalyst for what eventually would become Midwest emo to some degree. It just gave me those vibes. For some
I can
reason,
kind of feel it.
I would think you would rate it higher then, because that means it had a lot of influence after the fact.
Yeah, I honestly, I rate a lot of things off of how I personally feel about the song. I don't think a lot about the future impact.
No, okay.
Because like sometimes because a song could have future impact, but I could just completely hate the song in its entirety.
We can talk about the impact of Never Gonna Give You Up real quick.
Exactly. Thank you.
That's,
I actually don't hate that song. That song just it lives in my head rent free these days.
I'm so sorry, Ethan. But whenever you start speaking and moving your hands, it looks like you're not moving your. Looks like you're moving your shoulders with it. So you're like doing a little dance.
The little Cheeto dance.
I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna
Doing
get you.
The monster mash.
Ugh.
I didn't really enjoy the bass in this song, though. I do like a good bass.
Alrighty. Sorry, I gotta pull up the track list. All right, we are on
Right
to
now.
song number 3. Please do not go.
The Violent Femmes bailed on this song. This song is obviously Gano's pet project that he forced into this album. And years later, they would use it to make a Snappy Tomato Pizza commercial, I'm pretty sure. Because that is the
What?
lead off. That is the lead off into the song, is the snap, and then they changed it later on to Snappy Cicada Pizza. But that is the riff leading into this song sounds exact. And I know the song came first, so I know Snappy probably took it from them. But that is exactly how it sounds. And it, if there's anything, I mean, you can criticize this man's voice on every song if you want to. He made this song to make sure we knew he couldn't sing. I mean, it's just the worst. It's the worst effort. But I mean, it's if anything was going to stand out, this song is cute because it sucks. I don't know. I mean, generously a 4.
Yeah, this is my bottom song of the album. It's uninspired. It's just kind of here. It does feel really forced into the album. I can agree with you there. And I just, his voice. It doesn't transition well from the previous song because you can't really tell when it starts. His voice is kind of just grating here. Just didn't like this one. It only got a 3 for me.
Yeah, I gave this one a 4, and my note next to it just says, "What the fuck." Can't really tell you anything else other than that.
Yeah.
I mean, if he wrote it for a girl, she definitely doesn't like him.
Damn. I don't know. I gave this song a 6. It was. I definitely didn't like his voice in this. I felt like some people could relate to this song, and like the relatability of the lyrics is why I put it at a 6. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those songs that give me the puts me in my feels, if you will.
Oh,
And I always kind of see it as a positive thing.
So you think the girl's with him to this day because of this song?
Oh, absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Professionals have standards.
That's what he was aiming for, but it just didn't. No.
Yeah. Like
It
you can
is
tell,
target
like,
audience of bearded 20-something-year-olds.
lonely bearded 20-something-year-olds. There's a difference.
Alrighty, I think we're on to track 4, Add It Up, which I will say I disagree with Apple Music. I think this should be a starred song. It's fairly popular for them.
Yeah, it's a big deal when the album came out. It's the Violent Femmes Bohemian Rhapsody. It changes tempo. It's like 4 songs in one. I'm not even sure that the topic stays. I think it may be 4 songs in one. Because there's really no telling what it's actually about. But for Add It Up, 9 out of 10. It's up there with Kiss Off as you're making a punk rock album in the early 80s. This song definitely belongs on that album. So I think they did a good job with it. I'm sure live it hits like as hard as it can hit. So.
Yeah, I love the energy in this one. I gave it an 8 out of 10. It's just, yeah, it gave me more of that that vibe I really liked from Kiss Off, and I was just happy hearing it after Please Do Not Go. I was really mad at that song.
That helps.
I was really mad at that song, and then having this right after put me right back into the album.
Heck yeah. I also gave this an 8 out of 10. I was like, this song was goofy as hell, and I love it. I'm here for every second. There's a part where he's just screaming about how he wants to get fucked, and I'm like, that's
Real.
Hell, that's how it starts.
I get it.
He leads off with that. His cold open is that.
Immediately, I get you,
Relatable.
man.
Yeah.
He made his priority straight. This was the song for the girl.
Yeah, but later on, I think he's trying to rob somebody. I have literally, if it's telling a story, I don't know what that story is.
Listen, sometimes you get angry about not having sex and decide, damn, you should go get a prostitute, so you go rob somebody. I don't know. I don't know.
Don't you know this is Jerry Springer's mayoral story?
That's what it is. They wrote it for him.
They wrote it for Jerry.
Added up was my my kind of bailout thumbs up emoji. It was an 8 out of 10 thumbs up emoji though, so it's for like 2 thumbs up emojis because it's like a song this goofy, you don't know how to explain it and why you like it, but you just like it. You know what I mean?
I mean, it was definitely up there with Blister when the album came out. It's yet again, you can't play it on the radio, but the Violent Femmes weren't getting commercial endorsement at that time anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were traveling around like B-52s and REM. If you wanted to see them, you had to go to a college campus.
Yep.
That's the only place you were going to see them. If you wanted to listen to them and actually hear them on the radio, you had to park your car in a certain angle where you could pick up 97X out of Oxford, Ohio, because that was the college radio station at Miami back then. That was all that they could. That's all you were going to get back then. So this wasn't, and they weren't going to play this because they got shut down by the FCC.
Fucking FCC, man. All right, that takes us to track number 5, Confessions.
I like Confessions. I think it's a really weird song, but the influences in it sound so easy to pick out. It's got deep, sorrowful lyrics. I love the tempo of it, and I love that cheap pawn shop guitar sound. Like you pulled up to a bar you've never been to before in the middle of nowhere, and they got some guy in the corner just playing his heart out.
Last thing we
Yeah,
heard was
sing
Pawn
it.
Shop playing his heart out.
Oh, the guy at the bar with.
I already texted him.
Are you guys back?
Okay,
I see
stream is
Carson
back.
moving now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yo!
I
Okay.
think the stream went down though. Oh no, it's back.
All right.
Yeah, the stream came back.
Okay, cool. Let's go.
So, extremely original for the time period it came out. We're still talking about Confessions. It felt like they listened to the Doors for a solid week and then wrote a song. That's that, and it also reminds me of the intro to the movie The Hangover. There's a song called 13 by Danzig that intros when they're panning over the desert. I like the song. I would give this song like a 7.5, 8. But it's like, I really like it. I like it. I like the drums in it. I liked it a lot.
So, like, quick side note to your Danzig comment. I took my dad to see Danzig not too long ago.
Ooh, how's Danzig looking these days?
Fine. Ish.
He used to look like a WWE wrestler. He used to be like,
He's chunky now.
oh, that's a shame.
My dad says, and I quote, that he still performs like he's in the 90s, though, like vocally and on his stage presence wise. So
We went from Danzig to Danzag. Got a little fat.
Dan's did.
Dan's did. All right, Carson. You're not frozen. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not frozen. Sorry, my mother texted me.
Your mom.
Trenton and Savannah are having a girl.
Congratulations to them.
I don't know. That's a good thing.
Either way,
It's a thing.
Confessions. This song was just all right for me. I couldn't get as behind like the sorrowfulness in it. It's just all right. You know, it's not a bad song, I don't think, but for me, it's just all right. So it got a 5.
Yeah, I gave this one a 4 out of 10 because I was riding the hype train, and then the hype train stopped.
Died.
it went off a cliff, like Old West style. Someone blew up the bridge. That's what happened.
Is it Old West style tying someone to the train tracks?
Or like the blow up the bridge and then goes off.
Yeah,
and
blow
then,
up the minecart tracks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they got to do that stupid little Scooby Doo run. But yeah, it was to me a song that is not forgettable by any means. It just didn't place well in the album for me. I think this is closer to a wind down song than a middle of the road song.
That's fair. I agree with that statement, but I did give Confessions an 8 out of 10. I think it's because my headspace has been the sad boy music. This entire day, like this entire week, it's been like Michael Sarah Palin, Mom Jeans, Modern Baseball, Panucci's Pizza, which are all sad boy bands.
I know who they are.
I didn't know a single one of those.
I was
Mom
going to
Jeans.
tell him that the World
You don't know
Series
Mom
starts
Jeans?
tonight if that cheers him up.
Yeah, baseball is on.
It's on right now.
Baseball.
Nah, I'm chilling as a hot Cheeto on a podcast. It's all the joy I need in my life.
Love
Fair
how
enough.
no one there was not a plan for there to be a Halloween episode. No one sent a message. to
Yeah,
anybody,
no
and
one
then-
said
Then
a
he
thing.
just shows up in a costume. Like, where are you guys' costumes?
No, this was intentional. I didn't tell anybody on purpose.
I'd have thrown on like a horror movie shirt or something. Instead of that. Well, I do have the horror movie.
I
shirt
wanted
on.
the shock factor. Everyone's like, "Why is this man dressed as a fucking Cheeto?"
Should have put the boar head on too.
I was raking
Yeah.
leaves and then came in.
Alrighty, we are on to "Prove My Love," track number 6.
Prove My Love. This is this was my favorite on the album and has been for 40 years. This is the pop song, or the would-be pop song if they had had any commercial backing at the time it came out. It didn't take off. It wasn't popular with the people who were buying the album. It was all blister and added up. But this song was the one I liked the best. I thought it was so cool that the third verse was the same as the first. That stuck with me forever, so it's by far one of my favorites. And yeah, well, I mean, he does say the word shit an awful lot, so I guess in 1983 it wouldn't have had a lot of pop success because I wouldn't have been able to play it on the radio. But it's, by today's standards, it would be a hell of a TikTok. Good, Carson.
Yeah, I agree. I actually really like this one. This one got a 9 for me. I just really jived with it well. I thought it was catchy. When I first listened to this album, I thought the verse being the same was corny, and then it grew on me as I listened to it 2 more times, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of cool. But yeah, other than that, 9 out of 10. I like the song. I really like the song.
So I went the opposite direction of, in the context of this album, this song does not make sense.
Absolutely not.
I don't
So I gave-
disagree
so I
with
gave it a-
that.
I gave it a 5 out of 10, and I said we rank the whole album, not the song. This song would go in my playlist, and probably will go in my playlist because it's a good song. But just in the context of this album, it didn't work. Also, when they say next verse same as the first, it reminded me, we used to do that in like Pep Band all the time, Carson. We would like the fucking Little Red Wagon.
Yeah.
So it just
I think
reminded
that
me
might
of
have.
that.
I think the nostalgia hit me too. I think that's why I liked it so much.
I was like, that brings me back to like Boy Scouts and Pep Band.
Oh
all the
yeah,
fun stuff.
God, Pep Band was so much fun.
All the hazing of the like little kids.
Man, fuck them kids.
Facts.
Anyways, also I've heard the phrase third verse seems the first somewhere before, and it wasn't from this song. I just don't remember where.
Is it a Pep
And,
Band game?
No, I wasn't in Pep Band.
No,
you
but
know.
you can go to a damn game.
Yeah, you could
I
have
don't know.
went
I
and
stood on the
supported the
sidelines
high
half
school.
the time. I didn't pay
Guys.
attention.
Guys, I'd love that you guys are all friends from band and stuff, but I've sat through some of the worst football and basketball of my entire life coming to watch you guys play in the band.
Hey,
Trying to support
want you
my
to know,
son. I've
I
seen some
suffered-
shit football.
I suffered too. I watched shit football and I didn't even start on
So he-
said shitty football team.
He got to ride the bench and watch it even closer. They didn't add to it. He just got to watch it.
Bro, I'm gonna be real. Our coaches were terrible. It was, hey, this one guy fumbles the ball 6 times a game. We're gonna keep putting him in.
He's due.
Did he recover? I was gonna say he was due for a good. Did he recover at least? Did he get the football?
No.
Well, then, yeah, he was bound to get it back eventually.
He found it later after the game was over.
He got game ball for the best
Yeah.
from the other team, best player.
Yeah, I gave "Prove My Love" a 5 out of 10 though, because it's the generic pop song. So like, I don't hate it because generic pop songs aren't inherently bad. They're just boring in my eyes. And so that's why it's a 5 out of 10, because it's just average. Like, if you like, I'm not gonna bitch about it if someone like wants to listen to this song ever. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, go ahead, put it on. You know.
Alrighty, so I think that takes us to track number 7, "Promise."
Promise it's another pop song. It's right. These two songs, unlike "Please Don't Go," that doesn't fit with like whatever you're listening to before or after might be damaged because that song's in between them. These two songs go together perfectly. Maybe they don't go on this album, but if this song was sung by someone who could sing better, it would be, you would have liked it more. And I'm not trying to be mean to him. He's got the voice he's got, and he's done damn well with it for 40 years. But this isn't his style of music, and it's a well-written poppy love song. It detracts from the rest of the album because that's not what this album is about, but his voice is actually the only thing on it that kind of hurts it. Like, again, if it was a band in 1983 with Capitol Records or Virgin Records, and they were promoting that band, and this song would get airplay, it would have got on the radio if it was somebody popular doing it. I'm 6, 7. It's fine. It's not as good as "Prove My Love," but it's right. It's very similar to it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I felt that similar vibe. I did think they flowed well into each other, and obviously I liked "Prove My Love," so this one wouldn't make me dislike it. It sounds very similar. It's hard to rank it higher than a 6 in my mind.
Yeah, so I gave this one an 8 out of 10.
Logan.
This is the song I was talking about where it was peaking the bass. But the reason I gave it an 8 out of 10 is because my little boy heart heard Scott Pilgrim in there with how driven the bass was. It was the lead. And I love bands like Plumtree, which is who Scott Pilgrim's kind of based on, and like
Sex
Smashing
Bomb.
Pumpkins. Yeah, Sex Bomb's band. So like all of that stuff is what I heard in this song. And it was clearly like either they got influenced from this song or just the Violent Femmes directly in some shape. So I was like, oh man, this hits the I already like this genre button. So I kind of had to de facto give it points. I'd say this is by far a better song than "Blister in the Sun," though. I just had to rank "Blister" higher out of nostalgia.
Understandable. I gave "Promise" 6 out of 10 because it's the same generic pop stuff, but with good bass. That's it.
I think it's interesting that you gave it a 6 because you liked it a little more, and I gave it a 6 because I liked it a little less.
Well, because
they're
it
along
went
the
from
same
5
lines,
to 6.
Yeah.
I'm the
I just think it's
outlier
funny that
here.
we're coming from, opposite directions.
Well, how else are we supposed to give each other the nice, crisp, running high five?
You want to meet on 5s?
We're getting to the 5s. Alrighty, I think that takes us to track number 8, "To the Kill."
"To the Kill" will get a 3 from me. It's not. This song sounds like, we were talking earlier. I said that all these guys went to like music lessons and stuff. This is like they went to music lessons, but the guy the teacher was teaching them fusion jazz or freeform jazz. It sounds like a distorted jam session, and I don't know if they wrote anything down. Maybe they just go play whatever whenever they perform it and call it "To the Kill," because I thought it was it's an absolute mess. Yeah, it doesn't go with the. It certainly doesn't come after "Prove My Love and Promise," but I mean, I don't even know that it belongs on this album because it's got such a different sound to it. It was all over the place, I thought.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds very messy, very like wish-washy here or there. It's hard to rate this any higher than a 4 from me. I can see like some stuff in it when isolated sounds good, but all of it coming together, it just becomes a mishmash. It's just hard to listen to, really.
Yeah, so the technical guitar player term for what happened here is called noodling, which is where it seems like they're going nowhere with any given direction and it doesn't fit the context of what they're supposed to be playing. That is noodling. And that's what this song is. I put down that they took the Grateful Dead approach.
It sounds like a Fish song. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So it's just kind of like, it's weird out there for the point of being weird and out there. I did give it a 6 out of 10 though, because, well, I didn't want to hate on the Chad album. I didn't want to be like Ethan.
The Chad
That's fair,
album.
sorry.
Chad's giving the Chad album lower scores than other people.
It's true. So I would say, realistically, this is like if I was in the mood to listen to like Pink Floyd, because Pink Floyd's solos are kind of like this. If I was in the mood to listen to Pink Floyd and I had this song on instead, it would satisfy me. But on the context of this album, it's kind of rough.
Yeah, so hold on. So this has a heavy bass in it, right? For some reason, like part of me thinks like they really loosen the guitar strings. It's what it sounded like.
The bass is driving because the rhythm guitar is kind of non-existent, and it's just like lead licks most of the time.
They don't go together.
It was like,
Yeah.
I liked it because the pen, like unironically, the pen. So I like it. So because it would have changed my score if the answer was no, it wasn't the bass. It's a 7 out of 10 because it was the bass being so prevalent, and I think I just genuinely vibe with the song. But honestly, it would have went down if it was. I don't know. It just feels like it would sound weird if it like they really like boomed down their guitar to be that deep, and I feel like that would throw off the overall sound if that was the case in my mind. So I'm glad it was the bass, and so that's why it stays a 7 out of 10.
I feel like you could dub this over an episode of Tom and Jerry, and it would go perfect. It would sync perfectly with what you were watching.
I think you're onto something.
Sure.
It's like dropping acid and
All
watching
over the
Wizard of
place.
Oz and Dark Side of the Moon.
We're running, now we're hitting each other. We're running, now we're hitting each other. That's what it reminded me of.
That's pretty much exactly what it is. Alrighty, and now we are on to track 9, which is Gone Daddy Gone.
Solid 8 out of 10. Heavy jazz influences. Even the whole Gone Daddy Gone, that's all out of that. But the xylophone makes this, it works so well in this. He got to use it, you know, he had to play drums for all these songs and he got to bust out his xylophone. And it's a sad, like a serious upbeat song. Like it's like, I don't think it's supposed to be happy, but it makes you happy when you hear it. I like the song a lot. Desperately wish that it was a 9-song album right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked this one too. I love that jazz influence. And also, any song with the word daddy in the title gets a bonus point from me. Cherry Poppin' Daddies for life.
That's not the direction I thought you were
Didn't we
going.
light their
God,
damn,
he
didn't we
not
light
direction
their
I thought you
damn
were going.
album up?
I love that he had a qualifying comment after that. I was concerned.
Yep.
Yeah, I was scared for a
I
second.
made sure to say that because it's an
He did not-
offhand comment.
He did not clarify the Cherry Poppin' Daddies band, so we don't know what gang he's running around with.
If you think I'm running around with a gang, you vastly overestimate the amount of courage I have in my body.
I don't know.
I ain't getting shot, bro. It ain't for me. This song is a 9 out of 10 for me. I love it. Good.
Yeah, so I had to go back and scramble to change this rating because in the context of where this went with the other 3 songs, it was not right. This to me was the ending or the one before the ending. And since we cut the 2 songs, it's great. It's a 7 out of 10 to me. But with the other 2 songs that we had on there, that were, in my mind, I was like, oh, these are the ending. This sucks. I had to kind of bring this one down. I was like, this is mid as hell for where it is. But yeah, I'd say it's a solid 7.
I gave this song a 6 out of 10. I liked it. It just didn't hit that spot for me. There's sometimes I just have a hard time like explaining my music taste because I don't know how to put it into words.
Kitchen sink.
What?
You like hearing the kitchen sink poured into your ears.
Sometimes.
You like Cookie Monster music.
I do like Cookie Monster. I literally listen to a song that goes nom 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 nom. But I liked it a lot. Also, the xylophone specifically, right? I made a note of this. It reminded me of, remember, like, you turn on Crash Bandicoot for the first time, and the intro theme kicks in? That's exactly what that shit reminded me of.
I gotta pull up the
All right.
Bro, I promise you, I know I'm wearing a fucking Cheeto suit right now, but I'm not crazy.
But it's hard to find. Because the only other thing I can think of, like Yacht Rock, Paco had some xylophone. It just doesn't come up but every 20 years or so. So, well, in this case, 40.
All right, you're kind of right on this Crash Bandicoot thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Jamie
All right.
pulled up the clip.
Thank you for not sending me to the insane asylum today.
You still belong there.
Alrighty, so we are on to our last song on the album, which is Good Feeling.
This song does not belong on this album. It's an attempt at a ballad. I will say this. The lyrics of the song are true to the album. The performance and production of the song doesn't fit. It doesn't belong. Again, this guy doesn't have the voice for love songs. He's essentially Gilbert Gottfried singing songs. So that's tough to work into something. He's trying something. I give him credit there, but it's not. It doesn't work. And it sure as hell is not the way you want to end your punk rock album. This is not your closer for your punk rock album, whether it's today or 1983. No. Yeah, I'll stick with it's a 2.5 to 3-ish.
This one was another 4 for me. This is my thumbs down emoji, actually.
Wow.
I don't like it.
Wow.
It's a bad ending. Yeah, thumbs down.
The thumbs down emoji was not
It's
necessary.
just disrespectful.
I
Sorry.
know, that's just rude.
It's
This
an
is
L.
with the-
It's an L.
It is an L song.
You know what,
This was
Carson?
another one that
You're
got
an L.
changed. I thought this song before was filler, and then it became the ending, and I got mad. I was like, you know what, this is fine as a filler song, whatever. But now that it's the ending, it's like it's just awful. I don't like it. It was not my lowest song on the album because I think in the context of if it's not on this album, it could be good. Vocals aside, maybe some better mics next time. So I gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I gave this song an 8 out of 10, man. I just vibe with this song. I'm gonna be blunt. Like, I know it's out of place, but like, I just vibe with this heavily. I was just chilling, listening to this shit. Like, when I don't do anything other than listen to music when I listen to this stuff. And so if it like hits, it hits, man. I don't know. It was relaxing. I found it somewhat soothing.
Found it smoothied?
I guess.
Soothing.
Pretty sure he said soothing.
All right, we're gonna go to the flow of the album on an out of 10 scale there, Chad. So how do you think the album flowed?
The flow of the album, I think it starts off. I think they did an okay job. Then I think they went back and they started to sprinkle things in because they knew it wasn't working. I mean, if you drop Please Don't Go, then I'm going to say it flows fantastic. If they drop that to they can keep it. If they put it at the end with the other songs that they were trying something different, it's fine. That kind of interrupts the flow of the album, especially if, who was it that thought Kiss Off was the same song? Yeah. Like, Kiss Off flowed into Please Don't Go, and you thought it was one long-ass terrible song. And see, that obviously didn't work where they put it. So, flow of the album, are we doing a number on this?
Yeah, out of 10.
Overall, I'd say probably 6.5, 7, right in there. I don't think that. I think they could have definitely, with what they had here, made it flow better. They have what they need. They just didn't do what they should have with it.
For me, I don't really think it flows all too well. It's some of the songs flow into each other. It's but then they play some right next to songs that don't flow in, and it just gives it this choppy feel, and I can't rate it anything higher than a 5. And also, I have to excuse myself for a moment.
No problem. So I gave this a 6 out of 10 on the flow. And my only note next to it was keyword placement. I don't think half the songs were placed properly. There were songs towards the end that should have been in the middle as filler. Songs at the beginning that should have been at the end. I don't think Blister in the Sun should have been track 1. But that's kind of a looking back, hindsight's always 2020 kind of thing, where it's like that was the biggest song on the album, a solid 6.
It's the biggest song for the band in the history of the band, and it was their first song on their first album. So they literally peaked out of the gate.
That's never good.
Didn't do them too well. So I think a 6 out of 10 is more than fair.
Yeah. I also get the flow 6 out of 10 because like everything for the most part fits, but it's the placement of it. I mean, part of me wants to argue maybe like a couple of the poppier songs could be not necessarily removed, but replaced with a more punk song to fit the album better, personally speaking. But I'm also just more of a fan of punk music than I am pop music. Like I like listening to like the Ramones, the Clash, and some of your classic punk bands.
Yeah, I'm a big like Misfits, the Clash, Sex Pistols, Ramones.
I agree with what you're saying, but if you dropped "Prove My Love" out and put one of the pop songs third, it wouldn't have. That would have aided the flow of the album.
I agree,
but instead they put the Snappy Tomato theme in there, and it kind of. You can't take away from Added Up because Added Up is too comes in too triumphant, but it obviously took away from Kiss Off, which is a really great punk rock song. Because as soon as that ends, if it ends, you're right into this weird riff and this I don't know, whiny crying to your mom about a girl song. It doesn't go at the top of the album at all.
Yeah. Also, why do we not see Snappy Tomato Pizza commercials anymore? What's up with that?
Because they have a reputation. It's like why you don't see Mug and Bart commercials anymore. They're just known.
Same thing with Arizona tea.
Yeah,
Arizona was known for being the 99-cent tea can. Now they're $1.25. It's inflation, man. It hit Arizona.
Got out of hand.
Hey, at least they didn't make their cans smaller.
That is true. Let me tell you, I'm going to go on a rant for a second. If you go to Wendy's and order a Frosty, they charge more, and they made all the sizes one smaller. So a large is a medium's a small, and a small is a snack size.
That's why
they cost like $1 more.
Wendy's prices be ridiculous nowadays.
They
can't even get a 4 for 4.
You can get a 4 for 4, it just sucks. Get a $5 biggie bag.
No, the 4 for 4 isn't a thing anymore. They either have the $5 biggie bag or the $6 one.
What? When did they take the 4 for 4 away? I was there like 2 months ago and they had it.
I would say probably about a month ago then. Last time I went was about a month ago, probably.
That sucks.
They didn't have it when you and I went to Wendy's, remember?
Oh, yeah, they didn't.
I was talking to Logan because I was like, man, I want some Wendy's.
Oh,
And I
maybe
didn't
it has
have
been a while because
I've never
I
said
used to
that.
get the 4x4.
If I go, it's
Alrighty.
under duress.
He's getting the chili for everybody.
You don't want me I'm gonna pass up a KFC to get a fucking Wendy's.
Speaking of
Yes.
chili,
That ain't gonna
do
happen.
you guys want to know what weird chain has chili?
Ooh.
Subway.
Oh.
No.
Why does
I don't eat
Subway
there.
have
I don't
chili?
eat there either.
I say first of all, I'm hesitant to go to a Subway in general,
Alright.
but I definitely am not getting the Subway chili. We're gonna
I
have a Grimace
eat
shake
Subway
situation.
almost every day.
No
Can
way.
we also talk
Ugh.
about like
It is
everyone
the
shits on
closest
Arby's because of the double beef and cheddar, but they have so many other options that are delectable.
Yeah, jalapeno poppers.
thing. Did you say
Exactly.
delectable and Arby's in the same sentence?
Yeah.
Delectable is not the word to use here.
You gotta
They-
ignore a
they
lot
have
of.
other options than the roast beef sandwiches, and I'm a fan of the double beef and cheddar,
You
but there's
gotta-
other options.
You gotta ignore a lot of stuff, but it is better than Wendy's.
That's a
Spit-
bold statement.
Spit in the facts right now. That's going in the real. All right,
I don't
so
know,
now
somebody
we're
go
gonna
get a
do.
meat mountain.
Oh no. I
Sorry.
think
Really
we're gonna
fries?
do our music overall now. It's another 1 out of 10 there, Jack.
What am I answering?
Music
The music
overall.
overall, like the album overall. Your wrapped up notes on it, and then what you rated overall.
I think that what this album accomplished, given the time it came out, is unbelievable. Like, I think it's, as far as punk rock albums go of that era, I think it didn't have any support. You know, Slash Records, Midwest trio doing punk rock, what they accomplished to be still touring and still making money off of these songs in 2023, 40 years later. I think overall, this is a solid 8.5 for me, of all time albums. I probably don't listen to these songs enough. I wouldn't listen to Blister because I'll hear it anyway without trying. But there's definitely music on here that and I listened to it a few times getting ready for tonight, and I just played it while I was working out and stuff. And I remembered how much I enjoyed it when it came out, and there was something. And I don't know if you guys will ever be able to experience this because, and it's very nice to have music at our fingertips anytime we want. But to find a kid who could drive, who had a license to take you down to Clifton or Silverton to a special record store to buy this cassette because it was so cool. I mean, I say it stands the test of time. I think it's definitely an 8.5.
Don't worry, I got my cassettes.
Diver
I
down.
kill them all on.
He's got
somewhere
Diver
around
down
here.
and Docking in his hand.
I got
Big 80s guy.
I got kill them all on cassette somewhere in the basement.
Interesting.
I also got an insurance card.
There you go. Overall, the music for me is my ranking here is a little odd. I rank this album a 5 out of 10 overall, which is interesting, right? I'm more rating the overall project. There are songs on here that I really like. There's songs on here that I can really jive with, but with the issues and the vocalists, the songs that I ranked really low that don't feel like they're supposed to be there, everything kind of being out of place, the obvious production issues that occurred here. It's hard to rank it as a project overall. Like, if I were able to separate out some songs, I would definitely be up there. It'd be like a 7 or an 8 for me, but with the album as it is as a project, I can't really. I don't see. It's just because of how much I disliked some of the songs. They're really dragging the score down for me.
Sorry, I broke my mouse. I also ranked this album weirdly. I gave this one a 7 out of 10 at That is since it was originally a 6 out of 10, but that was with the rough cuts on there. They really brought it down.
Yeah.
But I agree that
They never should have added this.
yeah, they shouldn't have. This project overall, as Carson was saying, this album overall is not good as an album in its own right in the way it sits. It's not even recording wise. I think it's truly just it needs mixed up a little bit. Like I bet this album sounds 10 times better on shuffle than it does straight through.
Probably.
Which is since
Well,
I've been yelled at for it, I can't do that anymore.
I think they had they didn't have any training wheels either. So the worst thing that the artists can do is arrange and produce it themselves. And they didn't have the benefit of a large record company and execs, and people hate that and people make fun of it. And I'm sure as punk rockers, they really hated the idea of a big record company coming in. But there's professional people that are trained and know what people like that can arrange this album for them and maybe would have done a better job. But, you know, like I said, back then with this company, they probably did a lot of this stuff themselves, and their own personal feelings went into how they arranged this record, not the way like a professional would do it.
Yeah, you already know if a professional had his hands in this Blister in the Sun would have been the single, it'd have been the title of the album. They would have known.
I would have changed like everything though, like album art, whatnot. Like I'd imagine if you changed the title of the album to Blister in the Sun, you have a completely different album art.
Oh, did we rank album art? Was I
No,
going
not
for
yet.
that?
That's next.
Okay.
That's next.
Anyways, I gave
How my notes
the
are set up.
overall album a 6 out of 10. I think there's a lot to like here. The flow's a little off. I think it's a good album all around. It's just like not incredible, and it's solid. And it's definitely like, hey, you want something like old school to listen to? That's good. Here you go. You know what I mean? It's not like turning on Diver Down though. In my eyes, it's kind of like college punk, as like you would say.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, we're talking about REM, and it's a niche thing, and it's good. I enjoyed it.
All right. I think before we kind of get to our song of the day, we'll wrap it up by talking about what we think of the album art, our overall feels with it. Kat, if you want to go.
Well, the album art is just a weird choice. I don't know. Here's what I know about it. If you tried to pull this shit today, you would creep somebody out and get the police called on you. They saw a kid, they gave her mom $100 and they took this picture. And they were walking down a street in Los Angeles. And that's this little 3-year-old girl's claim to fame, is her peeking in a window. They take a picture of it, mom gets $100, deal's done, album art. And that is, I don't even know if I can call that punk rock. That is just like, I'm trying to be artsier than I am, and someone probably should have reminded them they're from Milwaukee, like, calm down.
Hey, at least it didn't throw a naked baby in the dollar bill.
Yet again, another example of trying to be artsier than you are.
So would you give it out of 10?
Oh, out of 10?
Mm-hmm.
A 3. It's not. It doesn't even go with the album. It's just so random. If their approach is, I'm so punk rock, I'm going to be random, and you're not going to understand this, then they were very successful. But I don't know. I don't think it represents the band at all, and it's their debut self-titled album. So that should have been more effort should have been put into that. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I agree. It's just kind of a random photo of a child. It's like, it doesn't. If I see this album art, I'm not thinking what they sound like at all.
That's fair.
If I see this in a store, if I see this album art in a store, like I'm going to pick up a vinyl, I would not expect this album to come out of it at all. It doesn't fit well. It's a random photo. Yeah.
It doesn't belong on any album.
The font blends in very well with the
That
photo.
is the big problem
Mhm.
with this album.
And I cannot. It's so hard to read. That it's a 3. It's just, I think they could have done a much better job.
I like this album art. I don't think it necessarily works in the sense of it goes with this album. But the thing I do like about this album art is it reminds me of other albums that were popular, like Presence by Led Zeppelin. If you know that, it's like 4 people sitting at a table with what they call the thing sitting in the middle. Or like almost like Abbey Lane with the Beatles, where it's those 4. She's not exactly associated with the band, but it's kind of like that just old like picture. And in my mind, I think, oh, like Led Zeppelin or the Beatles. No, it's obviously not like that, but that would be my hook to buy it on the shelf.
The bland color tone looks like Led Zeppelin 1.
Yeah.
The guy carrying the thing, it's just that beige nothing.
It's like I'm a massive Zeppelin fan. That's probably why I liked this album art so much, is because I was like, oh, that looks like Zeppelin. I gave it an 8 out of 10. But I think my love for Zeppelin has taken over.
But see, I would argue the other side of that.
True.
If they go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to do my review of the album art. It's 3 out of 10. Carson explained the graphic design reasonings already. The terrible font choice with the blending into the font into the background. Yikes.
Oh no, I was pretentious about art this week.
Yeah, I know. It's my fucking job. So like over last week with Dury and Suburban Legends, they had like a nice, like the beige doesn't add anything. It just like makes it weary.
Beige rarely does.
And it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't make me feel anything. It doesn't. I don't like if I were to see this like as card like just randomly like on a vinyl record or a CD or cassette, I wouldn't know what to think of it. I just go, oh, this looks boring, and move on with my life, kind of thing.
Well, to his point, if you're the punk rockers from Milwaukee, the last thing you want in 1983 is to look anything like Led Zeppelin. Because Led Zeppelin is, and I agree, #1 band of all time, in my opinion. But they're also, at that time, the epitome of commercial rock and roll success. And you don't want to be commercial rock and roll success if you're punk rock going college to college. So the fact that there's any similarities between those two should have been picked up and axed.
It's true. But I think they also, the way I saw it too, was kind of going towards like the Clash area, but instead like they didn't do a picture of the band because they were nobodies at the time. But like if you look at the Clash's albums, it's all kind of like those grayed out, weird beige pictures of the band. Even the Ramones did it with the black and white covers and stuff like that. So,
and I feel like on that note, it's a self-titled album. Why not use a photo of the band?
That's true, but Metallica's self-titled album has a gray snake on a black background. It's probably one of the worst album arts of all time.
That is
because
also
you can't
true.
see anything.
And to that point, that album has bothered me to this day. If you don't self-title your debut album, then never self-title your album. Don't come out like 20 years later and be like, this is our self-titled album. We already know who you are, Metallica.
Yeah.
You couldn't think of
Metallica.
There was no song on that album that you wanted to name the album off after or anything. You just went with, we're going to self-title this one. Pure laziness.
The thing that confuses me is they also refer to it, like many fans do, as the Black Album.
The Black Album.
Kind of like how Weezer does just like their name with colors, but they'll call it like the Blue Album, Red Album,
Right.
Green Album, or Teal, Pinkerton, Black, White.
First
So
album.
it's kind of like
I do like
they
Weezer.
picked the color, but I don't think, was Weezer big at the time of the Black Album? Or did Weezer steal the Black Album?
I would say Weezer had 3 color named albums before the Black Album came out. I would guess.
Weezer's Blue Album, it looks like, was 92.
Hold on, I got the Black Album pulling up here in a second.
I was gonna say 95.
I think it's like in that area.
91.
91. Oh,
for
so
Black
It's a little
Album,
earlier than I thought it
Metallica
was.
did it before Weezer.
Wow.
We know Weezer's inspiration now.
But that's the thing. It fits Weezer better than Metallica.
I can almost assure you that the Beatles' White Album is the inspiration for Weezer, not Metallica Black.
Oh, 100%.
But Metallica had, and the commercial success aside, I don't know how you beat Injustice for All. Like, that you do that and you retire. So the fact that they had the guts to keep playing music after that, I was like, how are you going to do better than that? Go ahead.
Yeah, and they haven't. That's the thing.
I don't think they have at all. I don't hate all their music, but that was literally here.
I do not like their new album at all that much. 72 seasons.
It's okay.
I haven't even listened to it.
I got back into Metallica around Death Magnetic. I kind of skipped the Saint Anger, Load, Reload, that area, the bad stuff.
I was like, the reason I even listened to 72 seasons was because of my senior thesis project.
Yeah, we got 3 likes. Let's go.
Well, speaking of plateauing, the Femmes have only had one other single since this debut album. They had a song called American Music, which is a fine song. It's a weird genre-y, campy sounding song. And other than that, I don't know that they've had any kind of commercial success with anything else.
Yeah,
so they were just kind of one and done, huh?
They had a
good few albums since.
Oh, they put a few albums out, but I'm talking about.
I don't recognize anything on any of these albums.
American Music is the only other song that you hear if you're listening to a specific type of punk rock satellite radio station or whatever mix you have on your phone. And it's a good song. I wish it was on the original album and we could cut something else off of it because it would really pick the debut album up.
Alrighty, I think we're on to Song of the Day. Chad, do you have a Song of the Day prepared?
I have a Song of the Day. And I didn't know if there were rules to this or what, but...
So the format is essentially you look to the camera and say, my song of the day is, and then you say the title, then the artist, then pause for like 2 seconds, and then talk about it.
Okay. My song of the day is Fields of Gold by Melody Diachon. Is that a long enough pause?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. It's a cover song of Sting's Fields of Gold. It's on an album they did, which I think they mean as a tribute. It's a pretty good album called The Tales of Sumter, because Gordon Sumner is Sting. And it's just a great arrangement, bossa nova style arrangement of a Sting song that I don't even know what I was listening to it when I heard it accidentally, but I immediately grabbed my phone and secured it so that I didn't forget about it. And it reminded me very much of the first time I heard Dar Williams cover Comfortably Numb by Pink Floyd. I just thought, holy cow, you've done it as well as the original. Such a great job. So that's my song of the day.
All right. My song of the day is Eat Your Friends by Jiraiya and Pink Shift. This song came out yesterday, and it's like a heavier Jiraiya song, and I really like it. I love all of Jiraiya's music. He's a really good artist, and Pink Shift does a really good song. Pink Shift does a really good job in the song as well. Yeah, just go check it out. It's really good. Jiraiya doesn't miss.
I think Carson should have to spell some of those things for me.
Jiraiya, Jhariah.
Man, I already forgot how to spell that.
Damn. It's like that one Naruto character.
Yeah, Pervy Sage. It's a cool guy.
Except it's spelled different.
Yes, it is.
Alrighty. My song of the day is Trust by London Thor. London Thor is an actress that's actually in a TV show I've been watching more recently. It's The Boys Gen V. And then I found out, just like kind of seeing her kind of blow up from that she was a musician too. And I've been trying to branch out a little. So this is kind of like your softer, poppier, like kind of mellow, what I like to call coffee shop music.
She the girl that's a boy too?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah, she's actually a really good singer. So I've added a couple of her songs to my playlist, and I just felt like, hey, maybe she's not too big to possibly come on someday. So hopefully the shout out works.
Let's go.
All right, cool. My song of the day is War Machine by Dance Gavin Dance. That song came out exactly 3 days ago, and I don't have much to say about it because it came out 3 days ago, but I've been listening to it nonstop since it came out, and it's a fucking banger of a song. It leans a bit more into the hardcore side of Dance Gavin Dance's music, along the lines of songs like Man of the Year or like Bloodsucker, where it's a bit heavier.
I'm not gonna lie, I totally thought you were gonna pick some like Flamin' Hot Cheetos song, because if you
Nope.
just look up Cheetos song, there's a bunch of them.
No, sir. The costume itself was the bit. There's no more to the bit other than I am in a Cheeto costume.
I mean, if you'd have been eating them the whole time, that'd have been
kind of fun.
probably. Actually, it'd have been
If
annoying for the
one-
rest of
if
us eventually
somebody
with
else
headphones
would have been
on.
eating them the whole time.
Connor would have killed me in the audio. It would have killed me if
If he had to
eating
edit
any
out
pep
you
chip.
chomping Cheetos the whole time.
Yeah, he
No.
would have fucking murked my ass.
No audio can be worse. There's two that sit in my mind, which is the entire Polyphia album review.
Was that my fault?
Yeah, that was the one you did
Mhm.
where.
Yeah.
But this also might be the same one. Was that when Connor was on vacation, or the
Yeah.
one where
Yeah.
Connor was on vacation on his laptop outside? The audio was just horrendous.
On the beach
Yep.
with the
I just remember like hearing the
ocean
wind
air
and-
breezing in.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I think that about does it. Appreciate you coming on, Chad. We'd love to have you back sometime.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Um,
no problem.
enjoyed
Are
it.
we gonna spin the wheel, or are we doing the original plan?
We're doing your album, which is Justice for All next
All
week.
right, sweet. So actually, talking to Metallica, next week we'll be covering "And Justice for All,"
Hell yeah.
as hosted by me.
Next
It's
week,
a
the wheel
banger
returns,
album.
however, so be ready.
The wheel does.
I will be
return.
ready next week.
I will not be. I don't have to submit an album.
No, you do not.
I didn't pick a song of the day till about 5 minutes ago either.
Fair enough.
All right, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you later.
Bye.
Deuce.
Thanks, guys.
No problem, Chad. It was great having you, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Dude, this Cheeto will not stay erect.
As we say, we gotta have Connor come